Okay, so good evening, everyone. We're going to start a little early. Hello, Chelsea. And today is Friday, March 15th, and it's 8:24 p.m. So we're going to do a couple things today. We've got a few updates that I do want to go over. I did send out an early email just a little while ago, which is an update about yesterday, as well as all the things that are happening that we need you to participate in. So first, let's get the business out of the way. So you'll see in the email I put out this afternoon, about an hour ago, half hour ago, an hour ago, that we have court on the 21st. So please make sure you guys are at the courthouse at 1:30, no later than 1:30, because if the court opens at 1:45 and we are not first on the docket, or we are first on the docket, which we won't know until Monday afternoon, we can update you for about Monday night or Tuesday. But right now, we're last on the docket. The courthouse does open up at 2. We won't know if all the other cases, even though we are scheduled last, if there's 15 cases and maybe 10 of them don't show up, we're going to end up being heard sooner than we thought. So when I spoke to the court today, they suggested that we plan to be there for 1:30. The entrance for the courthouse is 27 Madison Avenue, and the entrance is on 25th Street. Please make sure you get there because you have to go through security. Bring a snack with you. If you can't walk up a couple steps, you'll need to enter on 41 Madison Avenue, which is at 26th Street. Go through security there, and then they will walk you over to get into the courthouse where we're going to be, okay? So no later than 1:30 on the 21st at the courthouse, and you will hear oral arguments. Now, the courtroom can fit about 150 people. We want to pack that courtroom as tight as we can. It's important that they see who we are, the retirees, right? So if you don't get in, let's say we get 1,000 people and half of you guys end up standing outside, do not worry. You can live stream this on YouTube and watch it, but we need your bodies there. It's very important. So we want to make sure that you do know that once we come out, we will do like we did the last time. Us and the attorneys will meet you in the park, and we'll all talk to you about what's going on, tell you what happened. Chances are, just like the last time, they don't make a decision there, and then what you have to do is wait a couple days, weeks until the court makes a decision. And when we know, you'll know. So that's Thursday. Also, put on your calendars for Monday, April 15th. We are going to Albany. Our state bill is picking up some momentum, and we're going to be doing a rally. So please click the link on the survey that we did post up the other day. Let us know if you intend to go. It is an all-day affair. Depending upon how many people register to come and what boroughs they're from, we may have a bus like leave Manhattan, a bus that leaves Brooklyn. So wherever the numbers are is what we're going to do. So right now, this is for logistics. It will be an all-day affair. I believe our rally is scheduled for 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Capitol, at the $1 Million Staircase. So plan to be there all day with us. Laura says, I don't care if I stand outside the courtroom on the 21st. I hope we have overflow. Head count matters. Yes, it does, Laura. Absolutely. Serena Mia says, Marianne, what do you think of the idea of forming teams to shore up that $2,000? Teams can be about 10 people. I don't know what you're talking about, Serena, about teams. The $2,000 for what team? I don't know what that means, what that's for. Thank you, Marianne Matteo Grady. I appreciate that. That's very, very generous of you. So that's the court. April 15th is Albany. Also, we're going to be posting a link. If you are in the state of New Jersey only, this will apply to you. So we're going to ask you 2 questions. Only if you're in New Jersey, please answer that survey. I'll post that either tonight or tomorrow. You will also see on the newsletter that I've sent out today, you guys that were our prayer warriors for Mr. Bentkowski. We want to say thank you. He finally got the go-ahead to get back on the kidney transplant list. We put one of his photos in our newsletter, and the link to the transplant list in case any of you or you know someone who might want to donate a kidney to him. He is now going to be hopefully back on that list very shortly. So we also included that information in on the list. I spoke to him, messaged with him today, and he's in good spirits. So that's a very good thing. Thank you guys for all of your prayers, because that's what helped him get through. So for right now, I think I hit all of my talking points for the moment. And then, so today we have two guests. All of you guys have been hearing us talk about the judicial panel that AFSCME was requiring DC37 retirees to go. They put them in administratorship, took over their office, kicked them all out, and took over their Retirees Association. So I have two guests with me today because they were both affected by this, and I want you to hear from their perspective about what happened yesterday. You saw my video last night about some of the garbage that was put into the testimony by Ann Widger from AFSCME that was fed to her by Henry Garrido, which was pure speculation and misinformation, and it was really only meant to malign the Retirees Association. So, but I want to share with you the other aspects of the hearing that we did not discuss on that video last night. I didn't mention, or it probably would have taken longer than 20 minutes. So today I have Julie Leibowitz and Aurea Mangual, and both of them have a very wonderful, extensive DC37 history. Both of them are from different locals and have different experiences within the district council. And so I want to welcome the both of you to New York City Retirees Facebook page.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now in this instance, you guys were, and what you have unique is that, Julie, you were able to be in that hearing yesterday because you were with me, but Aurea struggled and they would not let her in. Is that correct?
Yeah, and what's even worse is that Carol Rosenblatt, who's one of the chapters in Florida, she was waiting in the holding area for over 30 minutes before they even let her in. And the only way she got in was to call that Clum lady so that she could get her in. But apparently they did not want people to do it. They really made it very difficult. You had to sign a clause saying that you had to have your video on at all times. It was stressful because at 4 hours, if you have to go to the bathroom, are they going to knock you out because you ran away? But I don't know why you had to do that. You know, they made it very difficult for people to feel that they had a voice. They didn't want to hear from the retirees. No. And I think they were trying to limit the amount of people that came into the room too, so that you weren't there, that they didn't have to hear all of those conversations. So yeah, there were my phone, Neil's phone, Donald Affleck's phone were all lighting up like crazy because they couldn't get in. So for you that don't know, they made you sign this policy that basically stated that you had to keep your camera on if you were videoing in. Now, for most people, it's very easy to click on and just click a link to try to zoom in like in this. The only way that they would let you in without a camera is if you dialed. But they did not care or understand that people were having some tech issues, or this was not really a tech savvy population to be trying to do something like this with. And they utilized that to try to, I think, limit who could come in, right? Yeah, and you know what, not for nothing, it's shameful because most of the people are not tech savvy. At the retiree stage, because all of this technology happened. Even I'm not as tech savvy as the younger people, but they didn't even give people a class. They didn't even do a test run. So let's say a week before the hearing, you know what? If you want to come in, you're not sure how Zoom works, we're going to set aside time for you so we can show you how Zoom works. So at the time when you go to the meeting, you're able to participate. They asked me. People did everything they could to make it unpleasant, to make it, they were
they were saying that we're not accusing anybody, as they did though, because they were accusing people. Everything that they said they weren't doing, they did. And how are you impartial? How is the administrator, the one who recommended takeover of the retirees? She's the administrator. She should have been helping the retirees. And now they put her in that job with a nice cushy salary, I'm sure. Why don't they disclose that money? But they won't do that. And why would they give it up? Why is it? And now all the retirees are not being serviced. Nobody's in Manhattan. Nobody's answering the phones. And how are people, what service does this do to the DC37 retirees? They're not getting help. You need help all of the time. They don't know what they're doing.
Camille D, who was on that call yesterday, she just wrote there were 60 in the waiting room when I was in there holding. And then Sherry says, I tried both ways and I could not get in.
It's a problem. And the fact of the matter is they don't want to give this up. They're saying, they're claiming, oh, it's not about supporting this organization. It's about the non-filing of these 990 forms. Well, guess what? A lot of locals who are active also didn't file these forms. And the accountant that the retirees had was also the accountant of my prior local when I was working. And he didn't do years and years worth of taxes and stuff. And, you know, finally he did it. We were never taken over by administratorship. I mean, this is just outrageous. Why are they targeting the retirees? Because we're fighting to stay in traditional Medicare. We don't want to go into the disadvantaged plans. It's life, it could be a life or death situation because they deny it, and they're getting a kickback from Medicare. So it's a money grab, pure and simple. The AFSCME and DC37 needs to open their books before they have any jurisdiction about turning around and looking at the retiree money. Let's see their books first. And AFSCME cannot police themselves. They cannot do that.
Chelso asked, did they publish the rules and procedures for the hearing also? When would they reach a decision and based on what? So Chelso, not to my knowledge, we were given a 2-page video policy and that was it. We were not given rules. And the decision that they will make is supposed to be, well, they will make a decision that will be based on the testimony from the 4-hour hearing that we were on within 30 days after they receive the court reporter's transcript.
Yeah, but the problem is they're not even making a decision to leave. The question on the table, what they were trying to gear everything to, is the only question that was they were taking questions and answers on was, did Lee Saunders overstep by taking over the retirees organization? They didn't want to hear anything else. They wanted that. So, but they don't say, well, if it's deemed he overstepped, we're going to immediately remove you from receivership. But it's only a hearing, and we couldn't bring, as Marianne said, we couldn't bring a lawyer. We couldn't really testify, because every time someone's trying to explain that this was retaliation to support this organization,
they shut us down.
That's not what we're talking about. It's the 990 forms. Well, I already testified that my local got screwed by the same accountant. People testified that there were other locals in DC37 that also were negligent with their filing, but nobody else got taken over. So it's a blatant attack on the retirees because they don't want us to fight for traditional Medicare. They want to get whatever it is. I don't know how much they're making under the table or what's going on, but it makes no sense. And that somebody testified that AFSCME even said in hearings, in international hearings, that they support traditional Medicare. So why are you coming after us? Why? My father totally said that, you know, we took less of a salary in the negotiations so that we could live with dignity and respect. And now our unions, who are supposed to be standing up for the people who gave their lives to service, now they want to steal all the money and keep it for themselves at the top, and the bottom gets nothing, and it's shameful.
I want to show you something, and everyone who's watching. So
So to Julie's point about how many locals are in default of their 990. So just so that you could see, if you come up here and you search by organization and you put in just the word AFSCME, and then you can choose between what kind of organization, that you get. I chose the revocation list. I want you to see that there is 2 pages of information here of unions that have lost their nonprofit status for failure. Revocation is from not filing your 990s. So, and that's only if you've denoted what state you're from. There's more, to be honest with you, because you'll see that these come up with the state. There are several other AFSCME locals that don't have a state designated to them here, and there's even more that's on this list, and this is 2 pages right here. So there's a couple from New York, this Retiree Council 82. I mean, there's others. So when we looked at this, we knew for a fact that there were other organizations that have had their 501c5s or C4s or C3s, wherever they were registered as. Definitely, you're right, Lizette. I do believe Lee Saunders definitely overstepped, and that's to the other point. When they had asked us for our 990, as I said in our video last night, and we gave it to them. It was January 8th. The board of directors, their board, E-board, had their meeting on January 9th. Ann Widger was already writing to Lee Saunders by February 12th. She didn't give them enough time to get things fixed. There's a process to that. It doesn't happen overnight. So, and we can tell you because we've had our own hiccups with the IRS. They just don't do anything timely. But, we've tried to get things done and quickly with them. And just, we still have applications or for things that we needed to have processed that we're taking, 9 to 12 months to get even looked at. And we'd have to constantly push and push and push. So what did you go through, Aurea? What was your experience in trying to get on yesterday?
Okay, first I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank the Retirees Association. I mean, we have been fighting this battle for a long, long time, and we're going to win. So yesterday, I mean, since the time that she sent the email, I responded that I wanted to participate. I gave her my information, my phone number, and my email. So we were back and forth. Then at the midnight hour, she's telling me that I cannot go in the video, in the Zoom meeting, if I didn't sign that paper. Well, you see the difficulty that I have working these phones. So I finally did it because my niece helped me. And I sent that signed document 3 times. So she continued to say that I did it. Then the next day I try again. And she told me that if I didn't sign it, that I could not go in. But like a half an hour later, so a lady named Emily from AFSCME with a 301 number, area code, she called me and she said that I will be allowed in the Zoom. And I was.
Okay.
Until the host, I saw a part of where Ann Widges was, you could tell that it was a program interview by the lawyer and her.
Yeah.
So he's, isn't it true, this, blah, blah, blah. So I already knew that it was pre-planned. So I did get to see her face, which I didn't remember her from Washington, D.C. when I went over there for one of the conferences.
Right.
Of the seniors. So then all of a sudden, she told me she was, they printed it. She was removing me from the Zoom meeting for hearing. So I tried to go in again, and I did, but then she removed me again. Then I tried to go in by phone, and I was able to click in, but they removed me. I sent them an email that was my number and that was me, and that I had received a call to be allowed to participate in the meeting. Anyway, they didn't let me. But I had a guardian angel that allowed me to hear the whole thing on the speaker, even though I wasn't able to speak. But I heard when you went back with that lawyer, I heard Julie. She was fantastic. And you know who was fantastic? The daughter of the 101-year-old lady.
Yes, Mrs. Robinson. She is
I'm saying,
101 years old. And she showed
wow.
up yesterday with her, was it her daughter? Oh my gosh.
And so I was pissed that I could not get in, but I was so thankful. I don't know if I should say the name because I don't want them to get in trouble.
No,
But
don't.
I heard the whole BS from ASME, and as a former true loyal activist to ASME and DC37, and I consider myself that I was like on the top one level of activism in DC37 with Wanda Williams when they allow lobbying and all that. Everything they let
Yep.
Wanda Williams go, there's no lobbying. People don't know what the hell is going on. They closed the building. What is it, 5 years? They took our social life away because they used to give the Jewish heritage, the dancing, a computer. So now it's everything by Zoom. Zoom. So people have dropped out because they don't want to do it like that. The building
No.
is still closed. We don't know who the hell is going to go move in there. And they
Yep.
took away a lot from us, a lot. And so the retirees have continued to fight thanks to you that you came along and you opened up our eyes and educated us on many, many things that we did not know about and I still don't know about. So I tried to educate myself a little bit and help my other ladies that always go to the rallies. And I said to Lee Saunders that he did overstep his boundaries. He insulted, assaulted, and offended all retirees, not only the DC37 retirees, nationwide. He is shameful. He should be ashamed of himself of being a leader of the one of the largest uh, international unions and all the things that he talks. And how do I know that? Because he has come to New York City in what they call the hiring pools. Remember they were
Right.
doing
Yep.
that?
Yes.
So here we are going with Neil and some of our retirees from Local 371, 1549. Everybody went over there. And the big Ask Me RV was in front of the building. So I said, okay, we're going to get to speak to him. Is he inside? No.
No.
They didn't allow us in the building. They did not allow, they didn't even want to allow us to go to the ladies' room. But the lady from DCAS took us to the ladies' room. Then I saw the cameraman going around the corner. So I went over there on the corner and who's in the middle of the block? We tried to go in. They pushed us out. All the cameras were behind the school. Lee Saunders entered through the back, hiding away from the retirees. And
Oh
I
my
said, oh my
God.
God, what a SOB, right? So I'm saying, Neil, it makes no sense. They're not gonna come out through here. They're not gonna speak to us. And that's it. And the people from ASME spoke to Neil and he said that he would be there, blah, blah, blah. But he never came through the front entrance. He went through the back. The only president that I saw coming in through the front was Anthony Wells. And I show him the sign of the Medicare. I say, Anthony, and then the other lady hugged him because they care for Anthony. It's no personal attack on any of the president. It's their actions that they did this assault, injury inflicted on the vulnerable population that served the city and served them. Because I was a lawyer person to 371. I gave my time. DC 37, they even asked me and took me to Florida when the Puerto Rican people were moving to Florida because of the Maria hurricane, and they needed bilingual. And I was one that DC37 and asked me was the real person that sent me through Wanda Williams to speak to the people that were there, and they had already registered over 100,000 people so that Obama could win the presidential election. And that's
Right.
how he won Florida. And so I was one that we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, be out of the hotel before 6, so we could go to
Right.
all these communities in the middle of the heat, you know, P- places that we didn't even know, but we were there. And the abuse that they have inflicted on me and the other people, it is shameful. They should be ashamed of themselves earning $300,000+ salary and not taking care of the people that were there for them. This is outrageously insulting, and thinking that we were going to stay dormant because we're old. And guess what? Here comes Marianne Pesotoro, woke everybody up, and everybody is on point on this battle. This is a battle that we are winning, and we are going to win the war, period. And
Well, we
that
got a
is
good
all.
team. That's what makes this work, is having a good team in place of
Oh,
people
yes,
all
yes.
working
And
together.
Michelle, the team that you have of lawyers and Michelle and everybody there, I mean, I've never seen a law firm work for people like they have done for us. Even though, okay, we have to pay and ask people for donation, we have to continue donating to the NYC public retirees. This is an assault, an insult on all retirees, never mind DC37, everybody. Because if they do it to us, they'll do it to everybody. It's terrible,
That they
terrible.
will.
And and then they consider us the bad guy and union busting. No, you are busting your own union. I understand that they even have over 10,000 people that are not paying union dues.
I think
And guess
it's
what?
yeah, you're right. I think it's 10. It's either 10 or 20. I forget how many. It's a lot.
Something like that. And then they want us to go and fight for tier 6. No, you let that go by. That's your problem. You go fight for it. Terrible, terrible. And it's
So,
not that I'm
Jeff,
against people.
go ahead.
I'm not against them. I don't hate them. I just hate their actions. They're supposed to be leaders taking care of us. We took care of them.
Yep. So what I do want to do is in the for anyone who is a DC37 retiree, if you want to join, I think you're already on that list. DC37 Retirees is trying to get information out to all of you so that our DC37 retirees, they're trying to get communications with you, because when Ann Widger and AFSCME took over their office, they took control of their email, their website, everything. So they have no way of talking to you. The only information you're going to get is going to be from Ann Widger and DC37 administratorship retirees, not like the heart, soul, and blood of this organization. So if you still want to stay in touch with them, their email to get in touch with Neil and them, their email is dc37retirees@gmail.com. It's super easy. I'll put it in the chat. And DC37, oops, would help if I spelt it right. Retirees at gmail.com. And you can email Neil, and I'll also put up the link. I know I put it up in there the other day. Let me see if I can quickly find that.
And one of the things that the DC37 people have to understand is right now, I don't believe you're getting services at all. So
At
there's
all.
going to be a lot of questions coming in. So if you route it to that email, we're all going to try to help band together and answer emails, because you're still going to get service even if we're all not in that office, because again, it's shameful. And by the way, Ann Widger, who's in charge of the AFSCME retirees, they're supposed to get a report about the taxes not being filed for groups of 2,000 or more. And then they respond and say you didn't file your taxes. They never did that. They claim that we haven't filed since 2017, but where was Ann? And then she's trying to give a song and dance. Well, they don't have the staff to do it. Sure, so that the 2 people in the retiree office during COVID, that was staff to do it, and that they barely were they were dealing with mail being delivered to Barclay Street and then carted down to the retiree office, but they couldn't, AFSCME couldn't help us. But all of a sudden, Ann says, you need to be under administratorship. and then she becomes the administrator, making a nice chunky salary. Why would she have any reason to give that up? It's they're policing themselves. And if in order to get results, we're going to need outside independent people to make decisions, because AFSCME has now become a corrupt organization that we can no longer be proud of.
And trust.
True.
And that's the frustrating thing, is because, you know, you guys have been in this organization forever. It was not always like this. I think that's the sad part about it. And knowing that they wouldn't let us have an attorney, they brought Lee Saunders had their own lawyer there who was asking questions of Ms. Widger and not allowing us to object, but then they objected to stuff that we said because they didn't want us to say it. I mean, it was that kind of frustration. And you're wondering, like, there were a couple people that kept referring this to as a kangaroo court. And I kept saying this can't be as horrible as people are saying it is. And it was very disappointing, to be quite honest, watching this, because I'd never seen one of these before, that this was actually how it worked, that they didn't want to let you speak.
And they accused Marianne of doing things. And when Marianne's trying to explain to them that everything was taken out of context and that what Anne said was completely and utterly incorrect, they're saying, you know, they're going off about like that they're not even letting Marianne continue the sentence to prove that she did not say it. So, you know, they're saying things, and when there's a rebuttal, when there's the actual person there saying, no, that's not true, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear anything. It was all about AFSCME, and all they want to do is prolong the non-services to the retirees as they drain their bank account.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting.
And you know, Marianne, they had a conference, a seniors conference this past year, where Bruce and Leslie attended. And this woman, Ann Bridges, was there, right? And she, as far as I know, never told them anything about this 990s. She has never met with the retirees. She has never come to New York to meet the retirees, even when we were at DC37 and at this location of 75 Maryland. Lee Saunders never called or never came to New York to meet with the retirees. But then they went and did this assault on the staff, and even wanted to take the personal phones away. These people didn't even know who these people were. There could have been a gang coming from the outside, assaulting a staff person. Pilar is still nervous about this, about this invasion. They hassle John Hardesty, who is the best treasurer ever, and the other people that were in the office. That was the ultimate insulting from AFSCME coming to New York City, who has been the best retirees ever for AFSCME. And they get money from our Retiree Association. And by having $3.5 million in the bank that Ann Widges and them want to get their hands on, does that tell you that the retirees are doing something wrong? And then they said that nobody was brought up on charges or committed any fraudulent activity. Then why did they take over the administration? And on top of that, they did it illegally.
Right.
That's a private building. They didn't get permission from the owner of the building or the management of the building, and they went in there and changed locks on a lease that the name was not on that lease. If I had been there, I would have called the police department, because they came from out of state, and I'm sure they got different laws or whatever. I don't care what the Constitution says. That was a Gestapo assault on the retiree. That's a shame.
So even when Bruce High went to bring up that exact point about them not being on the lease and that they lied to the landlord, the attorney for AFSCME had tried to shut them down. So, you know, that's part of the was part of the issue of them lying, misleading the intimidating the landlord about doing that. John Hardesty was the treasurer. He had been expressing to AFSCME for the last 2 years that he was ill, he was getting worse. He didn't want to do this anymore, but he didn't want to just quit. And they were struggling to find someone to take his place. And even the board had asked them for help. But AFSCME was not forthcoming with providing that support, but they had absolutely no problem with holding him accountable when he wasn't provided the support that AFSCME should have given him. So that part is, kind of frustrating. But we're getting close to 9 o'clock. So do you guys want to say anything else before I do a quick recap and then close the meeting? Go ahead.
I want to say that Ray, what's his name? Ray Markey, he said it best. He said if they thought that they were going to intimidate, humiliate the retirees, the egg is on their faces, because AFSCME is the one nationwide, never mind New York City, nationwide. People are looking, people are listening, and they know, because remember when you took us to Washington, D.C. would be a hero? Those people found out that we were no joke, that we were there on a legitimate cause. And on top of that, Lee Saunders and this woman, Ann Richards, they sent emails to us to call our Congress members and the senators to protect traditional Medicare. But why are they against us trying to protect traditional Medicare? Is there millions of dollars under the table?
Yeah,
No,
she wouldn't answer.
And, and she's not a retiree, so she doesn't feel like we feel. She's still a young woman collecting over $200,000 paycheck, and just they say jump, she goes how high. So she's a puppet. So
well, thank you, Aurea. Go ahead,
And
Julie. It's your turn.
So the only way to get AFSCME to realize how strong we are is to everybody to band together. And that includes getting the active members. I'm sure a lot of you still know active people in the agencies. Get the word out, because they're the retirees in training. And if they're going to steal our money, then they need to opt out. And that's my personal thing. If AFSCME is going after the money, then you know what? Let's stop giving them money to go after.
And stop the people program.
What?
Stop paying into the people
program. Right.
Yeah.
Just pull all your money back. And let's see where it is, because they're throwing away the dues payers' money. It's all staying at the top. The regular members aren't getting service. There's no competence anymore. There's no caring. It's all about what people can get for themselves. DC37, MLC, AFSCME, and UFT. At least Mulgrew is going to be gone in the next election. We don't vote. Well, from what we understand, but DC37 retirees don't vote, and we should work to change that as well, because change needs to happen and everybody at the top needs to go.
And I think that's what she didn't like. Remember, she attacked us for our tactics, but where our tactics are union tactics, they taught us how to do this.
They were insulting Henry and all this and Lee, and that was no good. But they didn't say they were against the message, just how the message was relayed. But we could make it really clear. Shame on you. How do you even look at people in the face? It's not the tactics we're using. We're bringing your actions to light. And if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen.
Amen, sister.
And Marianne, one last thing. I think you should flash Ann Ridge's telephone number so we could flood her calls every single day, night and day, like we did with the city council puppets over there, that we flooded the emails and the calls. We need to do that.
Oh my gosh. So if anyone is having trouble or getting in touch with DC37 retirees, or has questions about yesterday's hearing, feel free to reach out to Ms. Ann Widger, who is the administrator of AFSCME, at A for Ann, Widger, WIDGER, I'll even put it in the chat, A Widger at AFSCME, AFSCME.org. And feel free to let Ann know how you feel about anything, since she's the leader, administrator leader.
And no,
There you go. Anyway, so I'm going to close this portion, guys. It's just after 9. I want to do a really quick recap. If you guys go back and if you've missed the beginning of this video, we did a quick recap on all of the things that you need to know. There is an email that I just put out today. I will put out another one after this video goes up, and I edited a little bit for brevity. But on Thursday, March 21st, we have court. Court is located at 27 Madison Avenue. The entrance is on 25th Street. If you can't walk up a couple steps, you need to show up at 41 Madison Avenue at 26th Street and go through security there. They will walk you over. Be there no later than 1:30. That may change if we get a call from the courthouse come Monday night. It'll be late, just so you know. So I'll either let you know Monday night or Tuesday morning, but right now, please be there no later than 1:30, because we need a sea of retirees at this court hearing. You will hear Jake Gardner do oral arguments like you had watched on YouTube when he did this a year ago. So please come out. It'll be great to see all of you again, and because we haven't been together for quite a few months. So that's that date. April 15th is a Monday. Put that on your calendar. All-day affair. We are planning a rally in Albany. Sign up. If you live up in the area, the vicinity of Albany, and you want to drive there, there is a question on the survey that says, I plan to meet you there, don't need the bus. Perfect. But we need to get this information for logistics, okay? How do we access the appeal court on video? Eileen, come on, you know me better. I always give you links and everything, but just not today. Let's get closer there and you'll get it. Yes, Karen, you definitely need to cheer Jake on. Jake absolutely loved that. What case is this, says Inez. Inez, the case that they're hearing is the Bentkowski case. You know, the gentleman that you guys were prayer warriors for. It was called the nuclear option case, where the mayor stripped all of our choices of healthcare plans and forced us into the MA plan. The court said, no way. Now it's in the First Department Court of Appeals. That said, in closing, we lost a member the other day, and we found out about it today, and we posted it about it. Stephen Fischer, he has been on our page, has been a moderator on our page. This broke our heart to hear this today. So say prayers for his family and all of his friends, and send hugs to our moderators, because this was hard. In passing, Stephen Fischer's passing today was very difficult to hear. So prayers to everybody. Keep him in your heart. Keep his family in your heart. Thank you, everyone. And that's why we closed the page a little early today. So you're making me teary-eyed. But thank you, everyone. I love you guys. Julie, Aurea, thank you for joining me today. It was good to see you today. And Julie, keep on that fight in the name of your dear dad. So I want to say thanks. You guys, I'll talk to you soon. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. We're going to keep mixing this up a little bit on Friday nights. I want to keep bringing you different retirees that have different experiences, share more things with you. There's other retirees that are going through this. This is important to continue trying to grow this organization, grow the national movement on this issue. It'll be very important to give you some more knowledge and exposure and get to meet other people. Michelle will keep coming back in from time to time, but we're also going to keep pulling in other people to come in to share more information with you and just keep things growing. So thank you. If you make a donation today, make it in the name of Stephen Fischer.
I'm sure he would absolutely love that because he's been a champion of everything that we're doing. And I guess the only good side of this is we have an angel on our side at this point, as many other angels to help us. But say a prayer for this family, as this was very hard for his siblings. Everyone, God bless you. Have a great weekend. We love you. And ciao.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
God bless
sweetheart.
everybody.
Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.